Justice with Judge Mablean will be life, because in everything we do, it involves the law. You came to court to testify about what you heard, what you saw, and what you know.
She's fair.
I don't have a hearing problem. This ear works good. This one works even better.
She's firm.
I'm not responsible for that ticket, and I'm not going to pay for it.
Who says you're not going to pay for it? I make that decision, not you.
She's honest.
What you have to say?
All I have to
Nothing.
say.
This is Justice with Judge Mablean. Tracy Cosner is suing rappers Marcus Sims and Damian Milner in the amount of $5,000. She says the defendant canceled a scheduled gig and took a job with another promoter without her consent. Mr. Sims claims the weather was to blame for cancellation, and he is countersuing because the plaintiff badmouthed him to others.
All parties are sworn in, Your Honor.
Thank you. You may be seated. This is the matter of Tracy Cosner versus Marcus Sims and Damian Milner. I understand, Mrs. Cosner, that you are suing the defendants for $5,000, and they are countersuing you for $3,500. So, for breach of contract, loss of income, tell me about it. Your side first.
So, they didn't show up on a very important to me event, and I lost my money, and I just want my money back.
Okay, well, tell me, who are you? You say they didn't show up for a very important event.
I'm actually manager of these guys.
You're their manager.
Yeah.
And these guys are what?
Rappers. Yeah.
Rappers.
Yeah.
And you booked an event for them?
Yeah. It was a very important event on Saturday night, and they didn't show up.
How far in advance did you book the event?
A month before this event.
1 month in advance?
Yeah.
And what was the event?
So it was a big show, and these
at a
these
club?
guys.
At a where?
It was a club.
Okay.
Yeah, and these guys should be a mainstream performance on this show.
And they didn't show up?
Yeah, they did.
Okay. You didn't show up for an event. Did you have a good reason for that?
Yeah, actually, Miss Tracy here, she knows where we were. She gave us permission actually to freelance and to book our own shows, if you will.
And you booked another event?
Yes, in Chicago.
All right. And how far in advance was the event in Chicago before the particular event she said you missed?
The event in Chicago was on a Wednesday, and the event that we had with her on the Tennessee was on a Saturday.
In the same week?
Yes.
All right. And she knew about your event in Chicago the Wednesday prior?
Well, actually, that event was booked before she set the event that she had for us on Saturday. Our event was booked first.
Now, you go to the Wednesday event, what happened?
Well, we get in Monday, and it's a bad snowstorm Tuesday. And, you know, we planned it ear by ear, actually. And on the TV, they're telling us that, you know, to keep an eye on your flight numbers and, you know, these flights are leaving out, et cetera, day by day. So we explained to her, she texts me Friday because I didn't respond to her by Friday. So I guess she was worried by this time about us not showing up for the show. But what I was doing was actually trying to hold back in enough time to see if one of our flights would fly out within that time, because the show was Saturday night and it was only a 3-hour flight difference. So if we could have got out all the way up to Saturday morning, we still could have made the show Saturday night. So she was frustrated that I didn't call her ahead of Friday after she texted me and to tell her that we couldn't do the show, because I wasn't ready to give up on the show at that point. I still would have got there Saturday morning and did the show if possible.
But did you call her and tell her we have a snowstorm here in Chicago and there's a possibility we may not get out?
No, because we would have been calling her, and she told us she didn't want us doing it in the first place. She said that we could, but she didn't want us doing something in the same week in the first place. It was a good marketing situation for us, so that's why we did it.
So you said?
So, yeah, but I didn't want to worry her with something that she didn't want us to do. So I was trying to get my own self out of the situation instead of calling her.
All right, what do you have to say about it, Mr. Milner?
For the first part, we had already been doing shows on our own together, so we've been used to booking shows and going out and doing things. She books shows for us that are booked on schedule, so we know the schedule, so we know, all right, we have those because of her. If something were to happen between our relationship, what do we have for ourselves? So we book shows for ourselves so that we can keep our own grind and keep our own mentality right, so that when we're doing shows, that we know that we're doing this for ourselves and not someone isn't our boss.
But isn't there the point of having a manager so they can book shows for you?
That
or
is
is
the
that just a
point.
booking agent?
That is the point of the manager, yes.
Okay, so she books and you book. So what happens when the two of you do what happened here?
Well, it had been going pretty good for the longest. The problem happened with Mother Nature. We
How
wasn't
much
able.
notice were you going to give her once you got there Monday? There's a snowstorm.
They
Tuesday,
didn't declare the snowstorm until Tuesday night, the day
okay,
after.
Tuesday night there's a snowstorm.
But they was giving us play-by-play of telling us that maybe Wednesday your flights can leave out, and then they didn't.
But your event wasn't until Wednesday.
No, it was Saturday.
No,
our
the
event in
event
Chicago.
where it was snowing was Wednesday.
Right,
You said.
right.
Okay, so Wednesday night you did your event.
Right.
Thursday it was still snowing.
Yes.
So how much notice did you think you needed to give her in order for her to replace you?
I didn't think that we was going to not make the event. I thought that at some point in
But
time,
what if you did make the event? You never took that leap? But what if I don't?
I was looking for the positive.
You were trying to just get all the money.
Yeah.
You didn't want to tell her and let go of that because you wanted to make sure that you got Wednesday and Saturday.
Greed
You
got the
didn't
best
want
of
her
me.
to cancel you for Saturday because you wanted her to keep you open just in case.
Coming up on Justice with Judge Mablean.
I think you need to try to sit down and have a conversation and perhaps go to mediation because you've allowed your emotions to overrule and you're losing business. Not a smart businesswoman.
And later,
How much did you invest?
$700.
And what have you gotten from them?
Zip. Nothing.
Zip. Nada.
Justice with Judge Mablean. You're watching Justice with Judge Mablean. We're back with the case of Tracy Cosner, who is suing Marcus Sims and Damian Milner for breach of contract. Mr. Sims is countersuing for lost wages and defamation.
Do you have some evidence to show me?
Actually, the one evidence that I have, it's our contract.
Your contract?
Yeah.
Okay, but they're not denying that you didn't come, right?
No, we're not denying that.
And
at
you're
all.
not denying that
Yeah, but-
you were supposed to be there, right? You're saying that I have an excuse because of weather.
Because it was Mother
Yeah, but they
Nature.
promised that they will be there.
Okay.
Page number 4.
This says termination of partnership. So you don't want to be their manager anymore.
Yeah, but I still want my money back.
I got you. What kind of evidence do you have?
Well, right here I have.
Because you're saying you're suing her for $3,500. How do you get to this?
Well, actually, after she claims that she initially left us as a manager, she never notified us of this. So with that being said, we started getting a lot of, basically, he started getting a lot of messages on Twitter about her sending messages of we're not showing up, we're being unprofessional, we're missing events, but we're not knowing. She's booked events for us and not letting us know that we're supposed to be at these events.
Did you send out messages and claiming that you had booked them for events that they didn't show up for?
Your Honor, so the thing is that...
Answer that question. Is that yes or no?
Actually, no, because let me tell you. So after they didn't show up on this event, I was angry on them.
I got that.
I just thought that maybe they will call me.
All right. So here's what I think. They were not in breach of the contract because of the weather conditions. When there is an impossibility of performance, that is grounds to cancel a contract without repercussions. But here is where I think you messed up, is that you did not inform her in time because you kept hoping that the weather would clear up. But by the same token, you can't get even with them and get upset. That's not good business practice. You can't do that. That also messes up your name and your integrity. When you book people for shows and you know good and well you have ended the relationship, that's your integrity. And people trusting and having confidence in you that you're booking talent that doesn't show.
She even
Not
told
only
us-
does it speak badly of them, it speaks badly of you too. We can't rely on you. We won't trust you to book people because your people don't show. Don't you understand that?
Yeah.
Yeah, just dumb. It makes sense. Now let me see if you worth the $3,500. You good? Mm-hmm. Let me hear you.
Well, okay. To be honest, I got a problem with not having the problem, and that's word to the Most High. They coming for my neck but get deterred by the bow tie. too much class to be worried about your attendance. Costs too much gas to be driven by your intentions. I'd rather just not be mentioned. Tell Twitter that. As soon as you get a little attention, they're going to make you bring her back.
All right.
Stop right there.
It's in my hand. All right. Let me tell you something. I think that three of you need to sit down and think about it because both of you were making money and both of you were doing well with each other. I think you need to try to sit down and have a conversation and perhaps go to mediation because you've allowed your emotions to overrule and you're losing business. Not a smart businesswoman. I think you need to think about it. That's the court's order.
All rise.
Judge Mablean has ruled in favor of both the plaintiff and the co-defendants. Mr. Sims and Mr. Milner must pay the difference of $1,500 to Ms. Cosner.
You know you did not need to bring us to court.
Yeah, and you know you should have paid me my money.
Coming up,
How much did you invest?
$700.
And what have you gotten from them?
Zip.
Justice with Judge Mablean. You're watching Justice with Judge Mablean. Ben Shepard is suing filmmakers Jamie Vaughn and Derek Linus in the amount of $700. He says he contributed money to a film by the co-defendants that was never made.
In the matter of Ben Shepard versus Jamie Vaughn and Derek Linus, you're suing for $750, a refund for your contribution to an investment project of the defendants. Is that right?
Correct.
All right, tell me about it, Mr. Shepard.
So basically, I'm here today because I've been robbed. I invested in my old colleague's project, and they did not deliver with what they promised. They promised to...
Well, what was the project you invested in?
They're making it a feature film,
Okay.
and so far I haven't received anything. They haven't produced anything.
How much did you invest?
$700.
And what did they promise?
A feature film, a poster with all the actors' signatures and their signatures, and a copy of the DVD.
So they promised you the film itself, that you would get a poster signed by all of the actors, and a DVD.
Correct.
And you have not received any of that.
Nope.
Did they tell you when you would get that?
Yes, they said that I would get this by August of 2014.
So how long after your investment?
That was about a year and a half after.
So you were to expect a return on your investment within a year and a half.
Correct.
And what have you gotten from them?
Zip. Nothing.
Zip. Nada. Zip and a whole lot of lip. What you have to say about that, Ms. Vaughn and Mr. Linus?
Your Honor, he invested in our feature film, and he knew from the Kickstarter website that it wasn't a firm thing. All investments are risky, and unfortunately right now we have failed so far. Our goal to get everything out by August, it was more of an outline that we came up with a year and a half ago after facing the realities of how much it costs to pay actors and the crew and location and equipment. We just didn't have enough budget and we ran out. So it's on hiatus right now, but we are going to finish it.
Your Honor,
Okay,
we
so-
also invited him to a screening as well. So the fact that he received nothing is inaccurate.
We have a teaser and he has seen it.
Yeah, we invited him to a screening as a way to drum up more funds for the film as well, but also to kind of keep enthusiasm with our investors alive. And he came to the...
So you had other investors?
Yes.
Well, when you talked about a Kickstart website, what is that, a Kickstarter website?
It's a fundraising website where we ask for money. We ask family, friends, strangers to donate to our project, to contribute and invest in our film.
And what was the film about?
It's called Euphorium. It is a social experiment. It's very meta. You came up with the synopsis.
It's basically like a look at Hollywood through an actor's eyes who's trying to get his career back on track. So it follows kind of like the pitfalls and the drawbacks to being in Hollywood and living a lifestyle of glamour without having the funds to back up that kind of lifestyle. You know, lavish parties, expensive cars, high rent, stuff like that. So it kind
So
of
let me
tracks
ask
the
you
career.
something, because it sounds like you lived out the film. Did you do the expensive cars and the high rent and the lavish parties and all of that on the budget that you had collected? I mean, on the funds you had collected?
Correct.
You did.
But it all went to the film. We didn't personally enjoy the cars. We have named celebrities that are attached to this project, and they come with a price.
So what do you mean by that?
They have salaries. We do have name actors signed to this that we were hoping would help us in our marketing campaign.
So you
D-list
paid them.
actors.
Yes.
And I'm saying, using the budget, any of the funds that you received from these these investors from the Kickstarter website, did you use any of that for the lavish parties and the kinds of things that you say actors and actresses get themselves involved in Hollywood?
Only as it was relevant to the film project itself.
Coming up,
Did you weigh the risk?
Yes, their short films, their music videos were on point.
closed captioning provided by. You're watching Justice with Judge Mablean. We're back with the case of Ben Shepard, who is suing Jamie Vaughn and Derek Linus for the refund of money he contributed for their unreleased film.
Now, do you understand the word investment?
Yes.
And what does that mean?
Means that, well, in this case, I invest.
No, not this case. The word investment. When you invest in something, what does that mean?
Means there's a risk involved.
Ooh, really?
Yes.
Risk, huh? And who's supposed to weigh the risk factors before you make the investment? The person that's asking you to invest or you?
The investor. But I was promised.
So did you weigh the risk?
Yes. Yes,
Okay.
because I went to school with them.
Right. So you know about filmmaking.
Yes, correct.
And you weighed the risk.
Yeah. I thought there was little risk, honestly, because in film school, their short films, their music videos were on point.
Okay, that was short films.
Yeah,
That was music videos.
Correct.
This is a feature film.
correct.
Did you weigh the risk of making a feature film? Did you go ask anyone before you invested in your friend's project or your colleague's project, hey, man, does this look like a realistic budget to make a feature film?
I was not told that they would be spending all that money on lavish parties. I was told that they'd have actors, scripts, and it looks more like a documentary, honestly.
Okay, so did they tell you what the film was about?
Yeah,
Did they tell you it was about the whole life of actors and actresses in Hollywood and doing the kinds of things they do? Did they tell you that?
yeah, but I thought
Okay,
it
so
was all.
how are they going to film that scene if they don't
Staged.
have the scene?
I thought it would be staged.
Okay, so you thought.
I was told. I was told.
Oh, come on, it's a feature film.
Mm-hmm.
And you went to film school as well. And you understand the art of filmmaking, do you not?
Correct. I do.
And you know it's a risky business. You know, sometimes you put all you have into it and it fails. And then you may make the film and can't get anybody to buy it. So you can't get it distributed. You can't get it shown. You know there is a process.
Judge Mablean's verdict when Justice with Judge Mablean returns. Promotional consideration provided by. You're watching Justice with Judge Mablean.
Anything you invest in, there's a risk. And there's a rate of return, and sometimes you get something, sometimes you don't. You know, you've been living in the 21st century. You read the books, you read the news, listened to the news of all of those people that invested in stock, that planning for their retirement in the next 20, 30, 40, 50 years, and they have none. It's gone. Every dime. They don't get anything back because it was a risk they took. So when you invest in something, you have to be willing to take the risk, including losing your investment. You may get a return, you may get a loss. This time you got a loss, and you have to suffer the loss. Judgment for the defendants.
All rise.
Judge Mablean has ruled in favor of the co-defendants. The plaintiff's claim is denied.
I invested in your film and you just took my money.
You'll still see our final product on the big screen.
This has been a production.